In Episode 4, we'll be talking about common mistakes that beginners make in escape rooms. Another Wednesday here. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Mystery Ship Transmissions podcast. My name is Derek, aka Sugi, and if there's any new listeners coming in, welcome. And if there's any returning listeners, thank you again for stopping by. Let's get right into it. Today we're talking about common mistakes that beginners make in escape rooms. Now, from personal experience, I can tell you that I want to tell you a little bit about the first time I ever did an escape room. First escape room I ever did was with my family. It was a very, very big group. I have a very big family on my dad's side. We did an escape room called Puzzle Mazement, located over near Buena Park. Very, very... how can I put it? It was a very interesting experience building up to it. Now, for one reason, specifically, is my aunts. They did a lot of research to get prepared for the escape room because it was kind of actually their idea. It wasn't any of the nephews or nieces' ideas. It was actually the aunties actually were the ones who kind of brought up the idea of doing an escape room with the family, which was an awesome idea. But I will tell you this right now, they put their thinking caps on, they do their research, they watched escape room television show that was on at one point. They were looking up riddles leading up to the actual day where we went to go play the game. It was great. So when it came down to the expectation and the preparation to go into the escape room, we definitely, I think, had something different than just jumping right into it. Now, how much did that actually play into the game and the first time in an escape room? Honestly, not a whole lot. It was a little bit different. It definitely kind of stimulates the same ideas and the same theories of what you'll use inside of an escape room. But it was different. It was just very, very different. And you also have some of the nerves going in because you don't know what you're really getting yourself into. But that was a part of the fun. So that's just a little quick, personal experience, what it felt like going into an escape room as a beginner. So we're going to be going over the common mistakes that beginners make. And there's a lot. But today we're just going to talk about 3, and we pick out these 3 because these are very common things. These are things that can be kind of frustrating, things that as experienced players or escape artists or enthusiasts, however you want to go by, it's something that really, these are things that you should think about when you're doing an escape room. And for those who are going into an escape room for the first time, this could be a nice heads up, but unless you experience it, it's tough to say whether it helps or not. So, take it as it is. If there's anybody listening who's never done an escape room and they're listening to this right now and they do an escape room, let me know if this helped at all or if it maybe kind of got you a little bit better prepared, because that's kind of why we're talking about this subject today. So let's dive into the 3 things that we are going to talk about. We'll just, we won't even list them ahead of time. We'll just go down the list and take a little bit of time, talk about what it is that are common mistakes that beginners make. And then we'll also kind of give you a little bit of a cursor on how to deal with it. So let's jump right into it. First common mistake that beginners make in escape rooms is not participating. Now, this could be anything from goofing around. The most common one is not looking at puzzles with your group. I understand this is the first time. There might be some things that are very like ooh ah shiny, things that you want to go out and play with. That's fine. It's meant to be fun. It's there. Just realize that there's a line there. You definitely want to go into this escape room with the intention of solving the puzzles and getting through the game and seeing the whole story. It's like watching a movie. You don't want to go into a movie and then cut halfway in because you ran out of time and you weren't paying attention. You definitely want to have some kind of even keel level there when it comes to participating. Now, another thing with not participating is feeling a little left out. Maybe there's a little bit of something holding you back. Maybe there's a few people in your group, maybe someone you would consider an alpha in the group, someone who tends to take lead and kind of bosses people around on how to, oh, we should be doing this, oh, we should be doing that. Oh, no, that's not how you do it. You might get an experience with that, and to that, it's not uncommon for someone to feel like, oh, you know what, I'm just gonna let them kind of do their own thing. I don't really, that's not me. I don't want to deal with it. I'm just gonna cause drama. No, that's not the experience that you are, for one, paying for, and that's not the experience that escape rooms are really trying to portray to you. But that is something in another video we'll talk about, what some of the roles and some of the experiences you may have while dealing with people in an escape room. But back to what it is we're talking about, not participating. So that would be things like goofing around and not really engaging into what the group is doing. So how do you combat that? How do you fix that? You need to play all out. You have control over what you do. You have no control over the people in your group. And really, don't be afraid to help and give as much input as you can. Because your idea and your input could actually be the answer to the puzzle, or deciphering what the clue is, or whatever it is that you guys hit a roadblock in. You could possibly have some kind of insight or answer that will advance you faster in through the game. So hitting those bullet points, one, not participating, but the way to take care of that is just to play all out, have fun, help, and you never know. Maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. And if you're wrong, who cares? And if you're right, who cares? Just play and have fun. So we have one, not participating. Number two, not using your clues. Now, in escape rooms, you're given the option from your game master, who is most of the time observing. Sometimes there's an actual staff member in the escape room with you, watching you in case you need any help, or making sure that you don't do anything that you're not supposed to in the game. Or they might be watching it from a separate room via, camera, and they're observing, making sure that, once again, you're not doing anything you're not supposed to, whether it be like taking down certain objects that aren't supposed to be moved, that are not part of the game. But so what they give you the option of using clues in case you need them. If you feel at any time stuck during the game, you can ask for help. And this is just an option for you to move through the game smoothly. And if there's one puzzle that you and your whole group cannot figure out, you have an option. And when they say giving you a clue, this doesn't necessarily mean that they're just giving you the answer. They will still maybe give you a clue like, oh, you asked for a clue via handheld remote or a walkie-talkie. And you'll say, oh, we don't know where to move on from this part, or in this part of the game. Could you give us a clue? And the person on the other line may say, your game master may say, okay, have you checked the bookshelf in the corner? And you'll go, yeah. And then the game master will say, well, did you notice anything different about the book? Or is there anything in the bookcase that looks maybe useful? So you go over to the bookshelf and maybe you notice there's a certain pattern, or maybe there's something written on the books behind the bookshelf, in the bookshelf. Those are things that they're not going to just give you the answer, but they're going to help you kind of get yourself a little nudge to get you in the right direction. Now, the thing why beginners don't like using clues is because it feels like it's challenging their intelligence. It's a test of the ego that, oh, we're smart, we don't need any help. I'm here to tell you right now, I've done escape rooms with people who have more than 60, close to 100 escape rooms under their belt. And I will tell you this right now, no matter how many escape rooms you've done, no matter how smart you may think you are, escape rooms are there to challenge you. And there is no doubt that sometimes there's going to be things that are going to be very logical, things that are very obvious. But there are also going to be things that are very abstract that you're going to run into. And at times, there's going to be pressure. You're on a time limit. And those kind of factors really do challenge you in the moment. It's hard to explain it right now unless you are in there doing it. It's different. So you're not using clues as a beginner. You're like, it's 30 minutes in and we're feeling kind of stumped, but let's just keep going. I'm all for that, but that is the one thing that is hard to gauge, especially for someone who's never done an escape room, is gauging when and when not to ask for clues. So how do you deal with not using clues? Use it wisely. Now, some places only allow you to have 3 clues per game. Why do they do that? Within an hour, it should take you about any more than 15 minutes than you are stumped in a game. That's that's not so good. Then you're getting a little frustrated. It's a little bit stalling out. 3 clues within an hour is pretty reasonable. Some places do unlimited clues, which is totally fine. Some places I've done don't even have a clue system. They don't even give you any clues in case you get stumped. So if you're stumped, you're forced to just bulldoze through it or just sit there, which is not so fun, but sometimes that happens. And that's just those are just the rules of that escape room. But the key is for those who don't use the clues, obviously use them, but use them wisely. Ask your group if everyone feels that it's time to ask for a clue. It's not fair if one person looks at a puzzle and has been looking at a puzzle for the whole time and they're like, oh, I don't know, and they just keep it to themselves. Share it with your group. Get a different perspective. Work together as a team. And work as a team when it comes down to asking for a clue. If everyone can come to a consensus and agree that, yes, we've all looked at this puzzle or this riddle or whatever it is that they're dealing with, and we don't know what the answer is or how to move forward. So let's ask for a clue. Definitely something that will get better as you play more escape rooms. You'll be able to maybe gauge it a little more. And it's not to say that you should just jump straight to a clue if you look at it once and you don't know what it is. Definitely give it some thought. You probably shouldn't, once you have the clue in front of you, you probably shouldn't be taking more than 5 minutes on one puzzle. So definitely keep that in mind when you're doing an escape room. If the puzzle's taking more than, one puzzle is taking more than 5 minutes, then it might be time, and there's no other puzzles to do, definitely move on and ask for a clue. So to backtrack, we have 2 of our 3. Number 1, not participating. And 2, not using clues. Number 3, most common mistake that beginners make in escape rooms is not communicating. I say this from both personal experience, people I've talked to, enthusiasts, and they all say the same thing, especially when they're doing an escape room with a group of people that they do not know. Sometimes there's a barrier you have to break down with people. You have to be able to communicate. Things, for example, you need to tell people what you see and find, especially find. Now, I'm not telling you to go into an escape room and be like, the walls are blue, the ground is wood. Not necessarily that. We're talking about, okay, I found a box that has a padlock on it. Or, hey, I found a set of keys hanging off of this hook over here. Or, I saw a number with a circle around it on a picture. Does that always mean that those things that you point out in the game will be useful? The answer is no. Those could be red herrings, which we'll do a whole nother segment on later down the road. But you have to tell people what you find, because it can definitely be a part of the game and help you advance. The sooner you tell people what you find, the better it is that maybe you'll find the connecting piece to move you further down into the game. Now, it's not just speaking out when it comes to communicating. We're also talking about not listening to others' opinions. So kind of going back to getting together as a team and looking at puzzles together, you have to listen to your teammates' opinions. You can't just sit there and think that your way is the only way. You guys have to work together, and sometimes you guys need to hear out opinions. I'll tell you this right now. I've experienced it where somebody's onto the right track and then someone just shuts it down right away and goes, no, that's not how you do it. And then we find out later on in the game that, oh, they were right. It's a little embarrassing. Not to say that that person's always going to be right, but you have to be open to it. You definitely have to be open. You have to speak up and also know when to listen. So, not communicating, the best way to combat this is to just let people know what you find in detail. Don't just say you found a key. Maybe describe what the key looks like. Maybe it looks like a regular house key. Maybe it looks like an old, 2-prong key or maybe you find a padlock that has a 4-number combination, and maybe someone on the other side of the room is like, oh, there's 4 numbers written on the wall over here. Let's try that. Those are the kind of things that you definitely need to look out for. And then also, let everybody in your group give a go at the puzzle if it's not solved immediately. I'm not telling you, if you already know how to solve the puzzle, to like, hey, you know what, you guys, why don't you guys go ahead and try to solve it? I wouldn't do that. Time is of the essence. Use it wisely. But if you are stumped and you don't know how to advance forward, get the group together, say, hey, everybody, take a look at this. Maybe read whatever is on there, or just say, hey, you know, what do you guys think? That is the big part of escape rooms and how you utilize teamwork, is getting others' opinions and coming together to solve the problem. Simple as that. So, those are our top 3 common mistakes that beginners make in escape rooms. Now, I know there's plenty of other mistakes, which I would love to hear from you guys. If you guys have any suggestions or anything personally that you've experienced in escape rooms, for those who have done escape rooms, feel free to let us know. Use hashtag mystery ship. Hit us up on our Facebook or comment in our YouTube section. We'd love to hear what you guys have. But once again, down the list, 3 common mistakes that beginners make in escape rooms. Number 1, not participating. Number 2, not using the clues. And 3, not communicating. So with all those things wrapped up together, definitely take that with you for those who are experienced escape room artists or enthusiasts. Think about these things when you go into your next escape room. Tell me if there's certain things that maybe you notice now a little bit more than you did before. And see if you can improve upon those things. Maybe think to yourself, you know, the last escape room that I didn't communicate enough. And if I just said out loud what I had saw in that corner, that maybe we would have gotten out of that escape room, or maybe finished the room a little bit quicker. Or maybe we should have used the clue system a little sooner. Or maybe I should have participated a little bit more. Think about those things. This is a process on how to get better, not just in escape rooms, but anything else that you want to get better at. Because getting better at something usually makes it a lot more fun. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode talking about the common mistakes that beginners make in escape rooms. For our next episode, we'll be doing an escape room review. We're going to be doing that pattern of doing a segment one week, and then the next week we're going to be doing an escape room review, so that we're kind of keeping this consistent flow going, okay? So the next escape room that we will be reviewing is going to be Funhouse by Crossroad Escape Games. It's a really I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. I'll just have you guys wait to hear about what the room is like on the next episode. That would be next Wednesday. So thank you so much, you guys, for listening. Until next time, from the Mystery Ship, challenge yourself, have fun, and escape well.